Hi, and welcome to the Fit Warrior Life podcast. I'm your host, Chitra Rojlani, NASM certified weight loss and body transformation coach. This podcast is focused on debunking myths, providing inspiration, tools, and resources to help you get in the best shape of your life, no matter what age, stage, or phase you're in. In this podcast, you will get to hear from real life warriors who are killing it in their fitness journey so they can inspire you. I will also bring in experts from different fields in the wellness arena so they can help us live our best life. And of course, since this entire journey began with my personal weight loss of 80 pounds 6 years ago, I will be sharing all of my biggest life lessons I have learned through the struggles and triumphs that I went through. My motto is win the mind, win the body, and I want to help you do just that. So let's get right to it. In today's expert session, I have my friend Nanette Maddox of Kitchen Capers, and she's going to show us some amazing tips to organize our kitchen for meal prep success. Let's get right to it. Hi, Nanette. Welcome to the podcast. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you. I'm excited to be with you.
All right. It is a snowy day in February here while we're doing this recording. But I am super excited to have you here because, as you know, I'm always talking about the importance of meal prep with my clients. And when I heard that you are somebody that helps people get organized in their kitchen and, you counsel them, you're a cooking counselor, you teach them how to make meal prep easy, I knew that I had to bring you on the show. So tell me, before we get into all of your amazing tips and tricks, why did you choose to become a cooking counselor?
Well, I have always had a passion for cooking, and even as from teenage on. But although I pursued a career as a graphic designer, I always wanted to do something that shared my love of cooking with people, and had a few different little side gigs here and there, and have always kept busy with experimenting with different recipes and different ways of cooking in the kitchen. So I had this opportunity. I started this last year, and so I'm happy to try to bring the joy of cooking into people's homes again.
That is
That's what
so,
I'm doing
so
now.
awesome, the work you're doing, because honestly, right now, everybody's kind of forced to cook a lot more than they used to. And a lot of people struggle with that. It doesn't come easily to them. And it sounds like it's something that came naturally to you. And, you
Mhm.
obviously love it so much that you want to share that joy with everybody. That is fantastic. So tell me, what are some of the struggles that you see with your clients typically?
Well, some of the struggles that I see with my clients feel like they're either not a good cook, or they just don't really know how to plan and shop well, and be careful with what they're buying. So they don't bring home food that they don't know what to do with, and then they end up throwing it away, or making a meal that isn't tasty, or making just a one night meal instead of doubling it so you have leftovers so you can have it later in the week, or freeze it. So just cooking smart and using
Mhm.
the making the best of your time when you're cooking.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, time is our most valuable asset. And, whatever we can do to save time and use our time more wisely
Mhm.
is so important. Let's
Okay.
share some tips. Tell us what are, one or two simple tips that we can use to make cooking easier, to make it more creative, to make it more fun. And so we're not spending all day in the kitchen.
Right. Well, I think a lot of people tend to resist using recipes, thinking that they're too complicated, or they don't need them. They kind of know how to cook already. And if they know how to cook already, that's great. But I think one of the important things is that they keep some kind of, and I want to call it a cooking journal. So some kind of record of what you've done week by week. So you can then look back at your successes and your challenges, the things that didn't work out, and work with those and repeat them. You don't have to create the wheel every week, every month. Go back to the ones that you like, the ones that work, but you need to have a library of recipes and meal
Mhm.
successes, so you can work with those. So I love using recipes. I think they keep you creative, and they make cooking more interesting and your meals more interesting. And even if you're maybe feel like you're not a great cook, it's going to like kind of stretch you to do something a little more interesting, and use some different seasonings or spices, different cuisines. So it makes you feel more successful in what you're doing. So
Yeah, that's so
I think
important.
it's really important to keep track of what you're doing.
Yeah. You know, it's funny that I'm drawing another similarity here in what I do and what you do, because I tell my people to always keep a food journal in terms of what they eat, right?
Hmm.
So I want them to log it every single day so that they can then go back and see the patterns if there are any. But
Right.
you know, I'm like one of those cooks that I will do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And you know, if someone asks me for a recipe, I always struggle because I don't know what I put in it. So how do you recommend I, you know, keep track of it? Do you like just keep a notebook next to you and start writing it down? Is there an easy way to do that?
Yeah, that is a little frustrating, and I've done it myself where I've just whipped something together and it just came out great. I'm like, not sure what I did. So yeah, if you want to keep a little notepad, you know, in your kitchen, as soon as you get done with the meal, write down what you did. I have loved using some of the new apps that are out there. And what's cool too about those is if you have it on your phone, you can dictate right into the app what you did,
That's
and all your
cool. Would you
ingredients and everything.
tell us a little more about these apps you're talking about? I love technology and using apps, and I feel like my
Yeah.
whole life is on my phone right now. So I feel like I need one of these, because you know what I'll do is I'll have like notepads or I'll have little journals, but then, you know, I'll write a little bit in there and then I'll put the journal somewhere and then I don't know where it went and I would never know where to
Yeah,
find
exactly.
it.
So yeah, so I know it's been great with everything that's on the internet now. So the app that I love, and that I've been using for about 4 or 5 years now, is called Paprika, and it's a recipe keeper app, and it will let you save recipes from the internet or input any of your recipes that you have either on paper or in your head, and then you can put each of those recipes that you want to make during the week on a calendar. And so you can plan out the week and also create grocery shopping lists from it. So it does that and a whole bunch more things too that I think is really important to have it all in one place.
That
So
is fantastic. Oh my God, that
yeah,
seems like a dream come true. I need that app in my life.
it
Paprika, we
is
got to get this. Yeah,
definitely.
awesome. So, tell me a little bit about how your meal prep works personally. I'm always curious to see how the pros do it themselves. Do you
Uh,
have a system as to when you set your menu ahead of time? Do you do it monthly, weekly, daily? How do you do it?
I do it weekly, and usually I do it on a Sunday. Obviously, if life changes, I'll do it on a Saturday or whatever. I just did it today because
Okay.
yesterday I didn't feel up to it. So I'll go through the app and I'll put all of the recipes that I want to make that week on each day of the week. And sometimes I even include a breakfast or lunch,
Mm-hmm.
or because if I know if I want to double it or whatever, I can plan for that. Do the grocery shopping, and the grocery list is sorted by aisle, so it really makes it great. I just walk around with my phone and check things off, and by the end of the shopping, we're all gone. Um, so then when I come home, I will prep my vegetables as much as possible. So if I look at my recipes that week and I can see that 3 recipes need chopped onion, go ahead, chop all of the onions, chop all the garlic, chop all the carrots, whatever. Clean up all your lettuces and produce and put them in Ziploc bags or separate little containers. And they'll keep for, should be able to keep for about a week. Um,
Right.
and then you can prep your meat ahead of time. So if you bring home chicken breast and you know you're going to cut it up into cubes, there, put it in a container.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you divide. any extras and wrap them and put them in Ziploc bags, put them in the freezer so you don't waste any food. And also you want to look at, like, if you're going to do slow cooking or pressure cooking or marinating, think about what of those things you can do ahead of time. You can make your marinades ahead of time. Some people even go as far as putting spice blends together ahead of time and putting them all in the fridge at once. So
That is
there's,
fantastic. I think it takes a little time getting that system going, but once you have it, then it works for you, right?
right,
So,
right.
what would you say to somebody who is listening to all this and feeling a little overwhelmed because they're like, "Oh, I have no systems and I have to go now from zero systems to putting all of these things into place where I'm, putting my recipes ahead of time. I'm, getting my shopping list ready, doing my shopping, then coming home and prepping." It sounds overwhelming to a lot of people when they initially hear it. So does
Yeah.
your work include like coaching them through that process, or do you like give them the system to use and then they do it on their own? Like talk to us about a little bit of that process. How would someone overcome overwhelm?
So yeah, I mean, it can seem overwhelming, and like you feel like you're maybe going to spend all day Sunday in the kitchen, but you really won't. It's going to be maybe 3 or 4 hours at the most. But then when you think about it, every night, every afternoon at 4 in the afternoon, when you think about, oh my God, what's for dinner? You're going to sigh and say, oh my God, I know, and it's all ready, and it's going to take me 30 minutes to put together. I don't necessarily plan out 5 days of the week or 7 days. I
Okay.
maybe pick 4 meals because something, maybe one night's pizza night or one night's leftovers, or somebody's busy and they're not going to be home, although everybody's home these days. But so I pick out 3 and I try to make a little extra for leftovers so then we can have it again another night. So it's not as big of a deal. You can start out slow if you want. And some
Yeah.
people might want to plan out a whole month ahead. You can do
True.
that too. But
Yeah, I mean, there are planners out there. People love to be
there
completely
are.
planned. And the ease of having to not think about what to cook every day, right?
Yes.
I had another
Right.
question that I was thinking about as you were talking, and I know a lot of my clients are moms, and so I think a lot of people listening will be in the same category. What do you say to those who say like they have kids who are picky eaters, or other family members who are picky eaters, and how do you manage all of that, like cooking for multiple people and multiple taste buds?
Well, I think that's where your recipes are going to come in handy, and your tried and true ones, and you can put them all on the calendar. So if you're making chicken for 2 people, but mm, vegetarian for the other people, you're going to know, you're going to see it right there. And it's going to be a little more complicated, of course, but if you have it planned out, it should kind of fall into place a little bit easier.
I love that. I read somewhere that an hour of planning can save you 10 hours of actual
Yes.
work, which is, I think, mind blowing when you think about it. So you're saying take it right to the planning stage and figure it out when you're planning. Okay, if we have different types
Mhm.
of, requirements when it comes to a meal in the family, how can you make that one meal work in different ways? Or if it's chicken for the rest of them and using the same prep, but maybe, use tofu or something else for the vegetarian person in the family.
Exactly.
Love
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
Love that. Very
Yeah.
practical tips, very,
Think about it.
doable, usable right away.
Yeah.
I love that. And I can't wait to try out the app myself, and share
Yes.
feedback on that. Tell us a little bit
Uh-huh.
about how you work with people. Do you do mostly one-on-one consultations? Is it like a group program? What kind of stuff are you doing right now?
Right now I'm doing one-on-one, but I could do some small groups. But one-on-one, I would talk with, we would meet like once for about an hour, maybe less, at least once a week, or maybe
Mhm.
multiple times during the week. I'm pretty flexible and it depends on what you have going on. But we're going to meet like 3 or 4 times. And at the end of each meeting, you'll have kind of a homework, like go make sure you gather your favorite recipes. And now let's make lists and how to grocery shop well. And then how to do prep. And then I would come back to you after a week or 2 of doing that exercise yourself and we talk about what were the challenges, what are the successes, what worked for you, what didn't.
Mhm.
And because it is a process, and it is going to take a little bit to get used to getting into that habit, just like your exercise.
I love that. I love the accountability and the support that you provide. I think that's a game changer because, you
Mhm.
can learn about how to organize your kitchen and you can read about articles about it. But when you have somebody holding your hand and checking in on you week after week, that is where the magic is. So I love that you
Yes. And I
love,
just
love, love.
really want people to enjoy cooking, and put on some music, get on a phone call with somebody, enjoy whatever you're doing, talk with your kids, or whatever it is that makes you happy while you're cooking,
I love
um,
it. Make it a
and
family
enjoy it.
affair, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I
Get the
think
kids
you put love into your cooking, and that comes out when they eat it.
I love it. I love it.
So yeah.
And it's that's what I try to teach my clients as well. And I love how many similarities we have in our work. Because I always say find joy in the journey, because if you're gonna dread the workouts, you're not gonna be able to do them as much. If you
Mhm.
dread the cooking, you're not gonna be able to do it. So find ways to make it fun. So I love that you said that as well.
Also
Um,
part of,
yeah, fantastic.
yeah.
All right. So tell us, how can people find you? I want to, make sure that everybody knows how to reach you. Are you able to do this virtually now because of the pandemic, or, do you only
Yes.
go local? Tell us everything.
So the business is called Kitchen Capers, and I am in North Carolina, but I can do the kitchen meal planning virtually, of course. Um, and I'd even like to love to do like a Zoom call with you while you're cooking and prepping, and
Mm,
kind of coach you through how to stay on top of all the different tasks. Not teaching you how to cook per se, but staying on top of it, and so your kitchen isn't a disaster at the end.
yeah,
So, so I
that
thought
is so
that would
true.
be fun. So I can do that virtually. I also do kitchen organizing. So if you don't have a counter space to use, we can talk about how to how to
Maximize on that.
arrange your kitchen better so it's really for you. So you can reach me at Nanette at kitchencapersnc.com. That's North Carolina. So
Kitchen
I'd love to
Capers
talk to you. And
Perfect.
uh-huh.
So we're gonna link all of those websites and everything in the description of the podcast so that they can find out more about you,
Great,
reach
great.
out to you. Do you offer like a consultation call if somebody wanted to reach out to you and have that conversation before they sign up
Yes,
with you?
I do. I have a free 15-minute consultation, and then we can talk about what kind of a plan you need, and what kind of a process we're looking at, and we can
Awesome.
make it
Oh my God,
happen.
I love this. All right, people. So if you are
Ah,
struggling to get your kitchen organized, if you are struggling with the amount of time it takes you to cook your food and you want to bring efficiency into that process, or you just need help planning out your meals and creating a system that works for you and your family, you got to reach out to Nanette. And we're going to link all of her information below so that you can check it out. Thank you so much, Nanette, for being here and sharing your amazing wisdom with all of us.
thank you, Chitra. It was great talking to you, and I hope.
How awesome was that? Another episode in the books. I want to hear what your favorite takeaways were from today's episode. Don't be shy. Write to me in my DMs or tag me on social media and let me know what your favorite part was. What is one actionable item that you are going to take away from today? Because we can listen all we want, but if we don't implement, then we're not getting anywhere closer to our goals. So thanks again for being here. Thanks for listening. Thank you for being a part of my warrior tribe. I appreciate every single one of you. And I would love it if you would hit subscribe or leave a review because that will help me get to more people that need to hear this.